discuss?
Okay, and we want to mention also that we are recording the meeting. Yes, so just so if any other users want to see a playback, and yeah.
Okay. What time is it?
We'll wait a few start.
Or do you want to start?
It's fine. We can wait till 5:10. Yeah.
What do you say, Jonathan?
I'm easy either way.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think we can start slowly.
Yeah, agreed.
Sure.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so as the title of this event says, it's WhatsApp and SMS, a communication game changer for Jira Service Management. Today, Jonathan and I like to think of this as a roundtable discussion, so really casual conversation about the power of digital communication and omnichannel communication, and how this can now enable Atlassian Jira Service Management users and the benefits that they can receive via a new app that's been developed. I'm going to just introduce myself. My name is Malina Bičvić. As you can tell from my accent, I was born and raised in Australia, in Melbourne. I'm currently living in Croatia, and I'm a product marketing manager at Venature, which I'll discuss a little bit later on who Venature are. And I'll just hand you over to Jonathan for him to briefly introduce himself.
Good evening. My name is Jonathan Ryan. I'm the regional manager for InfoBip Open Market here in Australia and New Zealand. The reason I say InfoBip Open Market, the entity that was down here was Open Market, and InfoBip, probably the largest company you've never heard of, bought us just at the back end of last year. But my responsibility here is to look after all the clients that we have and to grow the messaging space and to basically improve people's experience and interactions globally. So I'm happy to answer any questions during or after the end of this session. I'm originally from Ireland, so no, I'm not, you can hear I'm not Australian, but I've been here for about 7 years and loving it. This feels just like home though today, given the fact that it's cold, wet and damp outside. So I'm feeling good and ready to go. So yeah, over to you, Malina.
Yeah, we've done a continent swap, haven't we? Okay. Just flick to the next slide. Here we are. So I'm just going to briefly introduce the company I work for. So Venature was founded in 2016. We're going to celebrate our 5th birthday this year. And we are a company that supply and implement customized solutions for all Atlassian products through consultation, distribution, and technical services. So, what does that mean? So, we make our know-how available to all forms of companies, from the smallest startups to the largest corporations, and we actively meet their challenges of digital transformation. We have received, since 2016, some various awards. In 2019, we became Atlassian Platinum and Enterprise Solution Partner. I would say we're the #1 solution partner in Europe. And we also became a top vendor in 2019. 2019, we also became a rising star in EMEA. And last year, in the year that it was the crazy year of 2020, we became the marketing innovator. Our main office is in Cologne, Germany. We also have an offices in Croatia, in Turkey. And this year we also opened up in the United Arab Emirates and in Bosnia and Herzegovina. There we go. Over to you.
Thank you, Malina. As I said, InfoBip, probably the biggest company you've never heard of. We keep ourselves pretty secret to what we do, but we're a global communications company. As you can see, we're based in pretty much every major geography around the globe. We've got something in the region of 70+ offices now. We've grown from been about 2,000 employees over the last year or so to been nearly 3,500 now. So we're a company that's moving to basically take over the world of messaging in a good way and provide connectivity for basic all humans on the planet to interact how they want, where they want, and when they want. So we will provide all aspects of communication from voice, video, text, over-the-top messaging like WhatsApp, Viber, Line, you name it, we can deliver it. We deliver something in the region of 15 billion interactions per month. So that'll give you a rough estimate of how large this is. And but we'll get into that more later. Infobip started in Croatia. We're a bootstrapped fintech, a large fintech now. We're going for IPO in the next 18, 24 months. So we're on a growth trajectory to build out and evolve the communication space. So if there's a communication channel that's needed, you can talk to us through or through Malina to add it to Jira, and we can add it there for you. So nothing's impossible. Everything is there to be for the asking. So please ask away.
Great. So an idea was born, and as Jonathan said, as you heard, Infobip is one of the largest global cloud communication platforms in the world. And Venature and Infobip developed a partnership in 2020, the crazy year, as I like to say, 2020. Let's just say our two worlds collided. So the Atlassian world and the Infobip world. And here we discussed, many ideas, looked at how Atlassian users communicate with their customers, and through a lot of internal feedback, it gave us insight on, we identified JSM clients' communication pain points. And one of those pain points were limited communication channel options to connect to and to contact their end customer or even internally. So as we all know, currently, most JSM users either go through the ticketing process or help desk, email, or possibly could use an add-on like Ops Genie or something. But an idea was born, and the idea that we developed and is powered by Infobip's API is OmniChat for Jira Service Management, which now enables you to integrate WhatsApp and SMS into one interface. Like Jonathan said, why did Infobip pick us, and why did we pick Infobip? Well, one, because Infobip has the largest API in the world, and hey, Atlassian software is globally used by so many big companies, and why wouldn't we want to give the opportunity for these companies to be able to seamlessly communicate with their end customer via JSM? So with over 5 billion people sending and receiving SMS messages and 2 billion WhatsApp users, omnichannel support really is a must today. And Infobip and Venature realized together that digital processes need to be customized and, personalized for the end user. So OmniChat is a plugin, like I said, that was developed. Its main goal is to be able to communicate with customers in real time, solve problems. You can pause and start the conversation in the JSM interface. And like I said, it enables Atlassian users now to communicate on channels that customers prefer. WhatsApp has 265% more of an engagement rate than email. And, the response time, I think within ticket of receipt is, within a few minutes, 97%. So obviously these figures show that today, WhatsApp as a chat app and SMS are vital to reaching your end user, or like I said, internally communicating within your corporation. Jonathan, anything to add?
Yeah, I totally agree, Malina. What we've got here is the ability for support and ticketing, or say agents, to be able to ensure that they see all avenues of communication within one interface. That's very, very important, because what it does is it removes distraction and it removes internal friction from their interactions as well. It makes their job easier, and it makes it makes them more productive. They are able to communicate and focus on what needs to be answered, what needs to be done in a way that is very simple to use. The other big thing about using the likes of WhatsApp or text messages, SMS messages, to communicate with their customers or their users, their stakeholders, is that the people who are receiving those messages and the information that you want to receive are used to it. It's second nature to them to interact via a tablet, via a desktop application, or so forth, on their laptop or phone or whatnot. People are comfortable with it. They accept it, and they find it easier to interact that way. And that's why this partnership between Venator and Infobip works so well, and will continue to provide the interactions that stakeholders will require in this space, because it means that as new ways of communicating evolve, it's in our interest to provide those, and we will be able to continue to remove the friction points and the pain points that people associate with this kind of interaction. So yeah, the future's out there. We're providing it for you.
Yeah, and just like you said, it just makes the agents, response time and efficiency so much more seamless while communicating with that end customer. They don't need to move between different programs and different channels and logging in and logging out. And, it's saving time, and it makes their life easier and making their problem solving much more efficient. So, OmniChat for Jira Service Management has integrated WhatsApp and SMS into the one interface for JSM. So you don't need that third party by using another communication tool. It's all on one interface. And like Jonathan said earlier, nothing's stopping us from introducing other channels as well, such as Viber, Telegram, WeChat down the line. And one thing that's really interesting that I was, sort of researching and reading up on is social media trends. And, there's such an increase in audience there, especially through Instagram and Facebook Messenger. And these, I guess, what we like to call them millennials, these 18 to 24s, like during coronavirus, that was their go-to on, shopping online or communicating with businesses. And so these are the opportunities that we can introduce also into Jira Service Management, and video chat as well. Which has become increasingly more natural and such a personal way to communicate with, a customer, and also helping the company to really solve problems and having that personalized communication with their customer. And this is also something, that we're sort of looking and developing and trying to figure out how to integrate this, option of video chat also into JSM.
One of the other great things about having it all in one place is that you will be able to see historic communications as well. So you're going to, everything is in one application. It's in one interface. And as Malina said, you're not switching between various screens and so forth. In a support environment, what we have seen in other implementations of this kind is that the people who are handling the support tickets and the handling support interactions are becoming more efficient because of it as well, because they're not having to switch in and out of different applications and also monitor different communications channels and different interaction tools. So it makes it a lot easier for people to remain focused on the problem at hand rather than worrying which interface or so forth to be using. So it's a win-win for all concerned, and it does remove the friction of those calls and those interactions.
Yeah. I just talking about connecting two worlds, the Infobip and Atlassian world, and the possibilities that JSM users now have, integrating, say, WhatsApp and SMS into the interface. Before I begin there, I just want to ask everyone who's watching, do they use this form of communication? Do they like connecting with a business on WhatsApp and SMS? Do you feel like it's, you know, helping you to communicate with that business easier, or are your problems getting solved? Do you like this, you know, way authentication? I just want to hear what the audience thinks, because I love it personally.
What we're seeing in the communication space, just to kind of prime the questions and so forth, is that customers, users, however you want to call clients, like to receive information over a text-based medium. I don't necessarily, that doesn't necessarily mean email or something like that. They interact better using a text message or a text-based app. It just seems to be the way the market is going at the moment. Also, there's lots of stats out there showing that people will the click-through rate of such communications and so forth, you're getting better results, you're getting faster response times, and it means that you as users and interacting with your customers will be able to communicate, as Malina said, in real time. We can get a text message from here in Sydney. Say, for example, somebody happened to be in New York. We can get it there in about 1.2 seconds. Try doing that with an email application. It'll probably take slightly longer.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and, you know, the possibilities that JSM users now have as a business, you know, they improve customer engagement, satisfaction, and retention. And I guess this retention is so important because there's so many options out there in today's world with various verticals and sectors. You really want to show your customer that it is a personalized communication. You know who they are, and you're there to solve their problems in real time. You know, it helps to optimize campaigns as well and improve your marketing ROIs. And at the end of the day, it helps to improve brand trust by being able to, you know, contact your customer, the customer to contact you on a channel that they prefer to communicate. It makes them feel more comfortable, and it really shows that you care where you're communicating with them. It's not where you want to communicate with, it's where they want to communicate with you. And that's really, really important. And I think that's how your business grows, and it shows that you're there to enable communication in all different channels and pathways.
Utilizing the likes of WhatsApp, SMS messaging is what we call a basic level text interface. It's ubiquitous throughout pretty much every handset that's out there, and that has been created since the mid-90s. However, when you start looking at something as evolved as WhatsApp, it's a whole new ballgame. It's a whole new delivery mechanism, and it gives a whole new user experience. WhatsApp text messages are great. It's 170 odd characters to get a quick defined message that you need. It could be whatever it is, a link or something to maybe a potential solution. However, utilizing a WhatsApp message that the person at the other end has elected to receive means that you have a full multimedia experience in there right in front of them. So you can send everything from documents, you can send video, you can send images, you can send how-to guides, voice clips, whatever it is, however you want to solve the problem that or answer the question that they're asking, you will be able to get that media to them very rapidly in a way that they want to receive it. And also they will be able to keep it on their phone in the application so that they will be able to scroll up and down, revisit it or so forth in their own time. So it's how they want it, as I say, where they want it and when they want it.
Yeah, that's right. I really believe that, you know, the thing that I find also amazing, and we were talking about this earlier before the Zoom meetup began, was SMS is still the #1 communication, you know, chat app to go to. And I find this astonishing. I really thought that it would be WhatsApp or Viber, but it's actually SMS. And the reasoning behind that is just fascinating. And I'd actually like Jonathan to sort of touch on that, the reasoning why. He thinks it's really boring, but I find it really fascinating.
Not at all. It is. As I said, SMS or text messaging is the foundation layer of all messaging, and it's been around since, as I say, the mid-90s. I believe the first text message ever sent said "Merry Christmas," so that's how it all started. Today, though, we've evolved into a messaging ecosystem that is quite astonishing, really. But SMS is still there. We send something in the region of about 18.7 billion text messages a day. So that'll tell you how many, how well used this is. It's moved away from what we call P2P messaging, which is person-to-person messaging, to being A2P, which is application to person. So most of those messages that are sent will be support messages, will be coupons, will be marketing, or something along those lines. The ones that really bug you when they start sending you stuff to say you want to be sending, a coupon from an online retailer, or your local wine merchant or something like that wants to give you some money off offers or things like that. But it's a very, very good way to deliver information. Most text messages are opened within 90 seconds. The majority, in excess of 60%, are opened within 30 seconds of a recipient receiving them. So it has great cut through and click through for people who want to send important information in a timely fashion. SMS has something like a 98% open rate, so it's very well received, and it's still, use cases are still growing as we speak. For WhatsApp, though, as I say, it's a completely and utterly different experience, which has evolved into giving an immersive experience to those that use it. Yes, we can still send text-based messages, but you can send all forms of media, as I said, as well. Much more involving, and it's the way of the future.
Definitely. It definitely is a way of the future, and some people may not really like that. But, I always try to see the positives of digital communication and, personal use and the use that businesses can use omnichannel communication. And like we said, it's all about bringing these various channels into one interface to be able to, archive your communication with your customer, being able to pick off where the conversation was paused, and continue that communication and having that personalized touch, knowing who they are, knowing their wants, knowing what their needs are, being with you as a client. It's very, very important. And I guess internally, sorry, there's a little bit of background noise and I can't. Yeah, perfect. And oops, went backwards, went forwards. Like I said, it's all about personalizing that communication with your customer, but also internally. Like JSON can be used. I also have this sort of vision use case in my mind for, even the education sector. I find OmniChat could really play an important role, say even with, with COVID being an example of literally schools closing down the next day with less than 12 hours notice, university, et cetera, by communicate with students and parents via WhatsApp, specific messages about online courses, re-enrollment, test times, no one's confused. Like I know, speaking to family and friends when I'm from Melbourne, when Melbourne was in that extreme lockdown, being able to contact, teachers or your professor at university, it was just such an overwhelm of emails and messages, and it was just all lost, where it sort of was really, really evident that something was needed to be done. So something like, say, Omni Chat for Jira Service Management, and I know a lot of the education sector does use Atlassian products. Something like a message going out once it's found out, we're going into lockdown tomorrow. No school, no university, no high school. Please you know, it could be, please press 1 for your timetable. Please press 2 for, you know, test times. And it just can make life so much easier. And this is something that, you know, omnichannel communication enables. And, you know, we were talking earlier, and me and Jonathan have discussed this quite a bit, you know, sometimes we all get really nostalgic, especially my generation. And, you know, Jonathan's not that much older than me, but his generation, for that paper and pen and, you know, that nice letter or that nice card. But really, this little guy, it's become you're emotionally tied to it as much as we like it or not. You know, that nice text message is that nice WhatsApp, you know, voice record from your mum saying Merry Christmas, I love you, because she's half a world away like mine, is so precious. Where, say, you know, 20 years ago that wasn't available. And I think it's just really, really important. I think the same sort of personalization business can give back to their clients and vice versa.
And to reiterate what Malina was saying in relation to COVID, we became very inventive along those lines due to COVID. So I suppose there was a silver lining to every cloud, insofar as we had to, for one of our clients in APAC, we had to develop a contactless ordering system for them. And as has already been alluded to, it was a fast food outlet, and they wanted to be able to quickly and easily allow their patrons to order what they wanted and how they wanted it. So we did emoji ordering for them. So if they wanted to have chicken wings, they just put an emoji of a chicken wing into the message, or a pizza, they could put a pizza into it, sandwich, and then they can, it opened up a different menu and so forth with a two-way text interface. So it really is, you can pretty much do a lot of stuff with texting and interacting with people. So it does get the information to them quickly and in a very targeted manner.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to sort of maybe go on to Q&A if there's any questions.
Yeah, Ivanka, you want me to handle it? There was one question. It was basically, what's the advantage to Slack, for example? And so Atlassian uses Slack. What's your advantage over Slack? I think you've answered this, and because the question was about 15 minutes ago, but it's from where I guess trying to summarize what you're saying is that the communication from Jira Service Management goes out to your customers. Your customers can run a variety of communication applications on their own personal taste, whether they use WhatsApp or Slack or Teams or Zoom, and that the OmniChat will actually interact with all of those items. And so this allows communication to the customer to be tailored to the customer rather than imposing on them, saying, well, we only talk to you via email, or we only talk to you via Teams, things. Is that a fair summary of what OmniChat is?
Mark, I think you pretty much see, you know, the communication channel of choice is up to your customer, not necessarily up to you as an organization providing the service, unfortunately. So now as people want that choice, it's allowing them to communicate via the product, the application, the service that they feel comfortable with. OmniChat provides that or facilitates that through Jira Service Management. And as it also shows organizations that implement such a solution that they are listening to their customers. They're giving their customers the channel that makes them feel comfortable or gives them the interaction that they require to get the answers as quickly as they possibly can in the way they want it. So yeah, Slack is a very good tool, and we use it too, I'll be honest, but it does have a very specific kind of audience and look, feel, and interaction capability with it. Great tool, wonderful piece of kit. but it doesn't necessarily reach everybody in the same way as a message, a mobile message, or an app message, WhatsApp message, or so forth can do so. So it's horses for courses. Some will want it, some won't. It is a place for them all.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Jonathan. We use Slack, and like Jonathan said, yeah, it is a great tool, but it doesn't have that same effect. And I look at it, I guess, because I'm a woman, in a different way. It's a different emotional attachment. Slack doesn't go with me everywhere. WhatsApp does, and I'm there to respond, pretty much straight away. And like Jonathan said, and and you as well, Mark, it's about what your customer wants, not what you want and how you want to communicate. And, with WhatsApp being the most popular chat app in the world and SMS being the #1 communication tool to this day, because you can still use it on that small Nokia that, is still around, to the best iPhone or Samsung today. It's more, I think it's more reachable. So, yeah.
The other issue with using an over-the-top messaging service is that you can have failover. If you initiated a conversation originally via, say, a WhatsApp flow, you could, if there is for some reason a degradation in service due to network outage or loss of data capability within the cell network, as it were, you can still deliver an SMS message. It's one of the reasons why the likes of the Rural Fire Service and so forth utilizes text messaging, because it takes so little, I'll use the word bandwidth or capability to deliver that text message. It's a lot easier. So if you needed to get a solution to somebody quickly due to stop an outage or whatever, you will be able to deliver it via text message an awful lot easier, and probably get it there rather than sending it via a WhatsApp message or so forth. So it's always good to have that failover and go back to basics when you need to.
Yeah.
So asking a techie question and just trying to figure out how it actually magically goes from,
questions.
and how it magically goes from where I'm typing in my customer name and then hitting send. So from the Jira Service Manager, and by the way, we're on premises and we don't use cloud, but then, so your plugin is sort of sitting at the back end monitoring traffic, and then what happens? How does it actually know what your customer's preferred option is? How does the magic happen without actually giving away trade secrets? And
we have the largest flock of carrier pigeons in the world.
Good answer.
We are the okay, from a basic, and this is a layman's guide to how this works, because I'm not fully au fait with the back-end development of OmniChat. However, from a messaging perspective, our APIs are communicating with OmniChat to facilitate the delivery of that message, that payload, to the required network handset, however they want to deliver it. So it'll go from your laptop to the servers that are utilized via Venator's OmniChat service, which will communicate via our APIs to the required network recipients to facilitate delivery over mobile network, broadband, whatever it is, to get it to the recipient, the customers or the end users tablet or device of choice. So it's we will use the infrastructure that's already there. The other thing is we've got a global connectivity option. We connect to over 750 networks globally directly, so that's why it's more secure and also faster than most other delivery channels.
Yeah, and all of that happens in under 1 second.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. And like Jonathan said, our OmniChat for Jira Service Management is powered by Infobip's API. Mark, I'm more than welcome for you to have a demonstration of how OmniChat for Jira Service Management works. We have a website that's www.omnichat.cloud, and you can book yourself in a demonstration, and our developers sit down, like I said, video call, it's personal, face-to-face. You can ask any question you like. and they will show you how the solution works, you know, your use case, how it's applicable to yourself or any other business internally or externally to speak to a customer. And they're more than happy to go through that technical side with you. And that's with everyone watching today. If anyone wanting to, you know, look and, you know, see what OmniChat for JSM is all about, you're more than welcome. At the end, I'll have my email and Jonathan's email. You can, you know, reach out, or you can go straight to the website and you know, book in a demonstration, and we're more than happy to show you how the solution works. Or you can go straight to Atlassian Marketplace and get it now and have a read through, and there's quite a bit of material there. But on our website, you've got, you know, video, user guides, brochure, and it really gives you a really nice overview of the solution and our partnership with Infobip and why we picked Infobip as our API provider. But I guess after this meetup, it's obvious why Infobip's our provider. So yeah. Is there any more questions?
Oh, sorry, I was gonna talk on mute. There is one more question in the chat. Malina, do you want to read it, or you want me to read it?
I can't. Can you read it for me? Because for some reason I can't figure out where to go.
Sure, I'll read it for you. So, with many companies having restrictions around communication of customer data, as it can be quite sensitive, what security measures are in place, such as being a cloud security participant, being an add-on developed on Forge, and etc.?
Okay. We knew we were going to have a security question, and before this, I said to Jonathan, "You're going to answer that, not me."
Okay, I'll take the hospital pass on this one. From the perspective of our infrastructure, Infobip's infrastructure, we provide in-country data security. We're also fully GDPR compliant. We are, the ISO number has just gone out of my head, that's about typical, but we have full security available to the highest level, and I can supply that to you afterwards to ensure that it meets your criteria and your requirements. However, given the fact that we're a global organization protecting and sending messages around the world on behalf of some of the largest organizations out there, we're very mindful about customer data, customer security, and how we need to protect that. It's end-to-end encryption via the use of WhatsApp. It's also, it is encrypted also as a text message over the cellular network as well. So it is secure. However, I will not say it's 100% secure, because as we know for everything, there's always some edge cases that you're just not going to cover, but it's as secure as it can be given the current requirements and the current legislation required in the various markets that we operate, and we are fully compliant with those.
Yeah, and like you said, you deal with some of, you know, Infobip deals with some of the biggest companies in the world. You know, Uber being one that's globally used. What others, Jonathan? I'd like to hear that. You can gloat.
We can gloat slightly. We provide messaging operations for the likes of Citigroup. We'll do for Raiffeisen Bank. We will provide it for the likes of FICO. We will provide it messaging solutions for eBay. We will provide it for other large mobile phone manufacturers that are out there. I'm not allowed to say the name, but you can probably guess which ones they are. And we will provide end-to-end security for their messaging systems connected to those handsets and so forth. So we are, if there's a company out there that is sending messages for the likes of Pizza Hut, Yum, all those kind of things, we're sending the messages on their behalf. Some obviously I can't say, but that we are if you threw a few names at me, maybe I'll be able to answer that one. I'm not going to blow my trumpet too much on that, but rest assured that we are sending on behalf of the largest organizations globally.
Okay, I see one more question, Andre. Does the omni-channel include MMS and RCS? And in the most quickest response, yes, it does. So go.
Okay, well, we can supply, as I said, pretty much any messaging application through that Venature will open up via OmniChat. The use cases for the likes of MMS and RCS is not normally as easily defined insofar as MMS is what I will call up the food chain of the messaging infrastructure. It's probably 2 above text messaging. It's still quite limited in scope and size and delivery capability. When you're looking at something like RCS, one of the biggest issues you have is that its reach is not what we will call as great as it could be, primarily due to it being very one handset focused. One of the mobile operators here in Australia that I was talking to recently said it's a 60-40 split Android to iPhone. Currently, the 2 powers that be don't play nice together just yet. So iPhone users can't necessarily send an RCS messages to an Android phone, and you can send an SMS and so forth to from an Android phone to an iOS device, but it's not as frictionless as it could be. SMS, of course, that's simple, but implementing an RCS solution is not as ubiquitous as it could be. And for all the for the required investment to get an RCS case up at the moment, it's definitely doable. However, it's not going to necessarily give you the reach that something like a WhatsApp implementation or another one of the OTT messaging, over-the-top messaging solutions would provide. And it definitely won't give you the reach of something like an SMS.
Yeah. Is there any other questions? I'd love to hear, if someone has had a, good experience, bad experience with WhatsApp or SMS communicating with the company. Is it something that as JSM users, is this something that you think could benefit your company, etc.?
I got a question, not exactly on the channels, but I want to understand like how the handover mechanism is like. Yes, you have all these text channels and everything, but whenever someone needs a human handover or someone needs to take over the conversation, do you have the potential of chatbot versus human, or does it have to always be served by human or AI versus anything? Is there any bot capability there?
Do you want to take that one, or shall I?
I'll go first, and then you can go second.
Sure.
So OmniChat for JSM now currently supports WhatsApp and SMS. So we don't have a chatbot integration, but it is definitely something that we are looking to do in Q4, hopefully, potentially, because we do have feedback for that as well. InfoBip definitely provides this, and I'll hand that over to Jonathan.
Okay, the easiest answer to give you is yes, it can be done most definitely, and we can integrate a chatbot into OmniChat if it is required, but it's a work in progress. However, if there was between then and now, InfoBip has different products and services that can provide that. I'm not going to do a sales pitch here, but definitely there is a very quick and easy solution where you can use an IVR, as it were, where you will be looking to communicate via a very sort of stylized template to reduce the flow within a support center or so forth, to say press 1 to do X, press 2 to do Y. Then you can say, no, if you want to talk to a a representative, press 3, or
Yep.
however. That's very simplistic. How we
Yep.
also have the capability through our AI engine to provide more interactive virtual solutions to to users if that is required. And we work with organizations to build that to their requirements. It's not one size fits all, obviously. But to answer and to reiterate what Malina was saying, yes, it is definitely something that is in the product pipeline for the future.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Okay, well, I guess that's that. Thank you, everyone, for your time. I hope that we sort of enlightened what omni-channel communication can give and enable Atlassian users, and in general, a little bit of an overview of WhatsApp and SMS. Like I said, we're happy, more than happy for you to reach out. There is my email and Jonathan's email. Myself and our development team at Venature more than happy to have a video chat to show you the solution, OmniChat for Jira Service Management, how it works. And our website, omnichat.cloud, has a lot of downloadables and videos to have a look at the solution.
And as Malina has said, if there is anything you need answered or so forth, please feel free to drop me an email. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. And if you have any other interests with regards to messaging or customer interactions, please feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to answer your questions.
Yes, yes. And also if anyone wants to contact us in the Atlassian community leaders, there is an email address, Sydney_Australia@atlassiancommunity.com. So if you have any questions, you can email us. You can find it through the website as well. And yeah, there was also some chats just exchanged in regards to the link. So thank you, Mark, for this. And as Malina said, yeah, feel free to reach out if you have any other questions for them specifically. Does anyone else from the participants have any questions? Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, everyone.
You so
It's a pleasure.
so much
Thank you
for
very
the talk.
much.
Yep.
And I
Have a great day.
I just want to
Sorry.
say hi to my brother in Australia who's watching.
Oh, hi. That's so exciting.
That's it. It's a bit embarrassing. But yeah.
We'll keep the channel open.
And I
Thank
hope, and please, if anyone wants to reach out, any question, feel free. Even if you think it's a silly question, I'd love to answer anything and have a meet up or, have a face-to-face, just like this conversation is. You can book it online or you can just email myself and we can book in a time. Like I said, I'm in Croatia, so it's Central Eastern European time, but this time works perfectly, or I can do earlier or even later, so it's perfect. More than happy to have that discussion, and our developers are more than happy on the technical side to show you the product. So really looking forward to speaking to any of you outside of this meetup.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
folks.
Thank you, everyone.
Malina and
Good
Jonathan.
night.
Have a great
Bye.
day.
See you next time.
Bye.